Oh boy, this one. The show that took so long, I made it a new thing for Zman reviews that I watched through multiple seasons of a show at a time. Like I'm also currently watching through Family Matters season 2. Well, because this season took so long. And remember, that was like towards the end of 2025, and I was halfway through it. It is now almost January is almost over. There's only a couple days left. It took me literally a month to sit through all 36 22-minute episodes of the series, and I feel like an idiot for taking this long to do it. Because of that, I guarantee this video is going to be an hour long, or probably obviously more than that, since again 36 episodes. I'm gonna have to still try to do my best to give each and every one like a specific review. I mean, I guess I could just like split it up into two parts, but no, that's like the coward way out. I'm not doing that. Here we go, baby. Twilight Zone, the moment I've been dreading for a while, for a couple days now, having to actually try to review these episodes as a package. Because of that, I'm going to try to keep the actual plot of Twilight Zone brief. Thankfully, Twilight Zone is a very simple series to talk about since the plot of the whole series is pretty simple. Basically, Twilight Zone is an anthology series that was made back in like the late 50s, I'm confident, or early 60s, one of those time periods. You know what they're like so close together. It doesn't really matter. Hopefully, hope none of those Twilight Zone stands are going to be all shaking their fist at me for getting the date wrong. For real though, it's an anthology series where every episode is pretty much just a weird concept. Honestly, that's pretty much what at least season one it can be boiled down to. The show's about weird concepts. Again, it's anthology, so there's no like recurring characters or anything. Which, hey, you know what? That can actually be pretty cool sometimes. As much as I love getting attached to characters, sometimes you need a show where you can just do whatever type of weird concept you want and don't have to worry about things like recurring characters or anything. So with that, let's get through these episodes. Well, that sounds like a negative way of putting it. Let's just like try. I'm gonna try to get through all these in a reason and still make this video somewhat reasonable. One, where is everybody? A man with amnesia can't find anyone at all. And remember, I watched, especially for these early ones, I watched these like a month ago. So please be polite and kind if I don't exactly always remember like the best stuff from these episodes, but I'd say I have like a decent memory compared to a lot of people, so hopefully I'm not too horrible at this. Okay, so I actually have a bit of a history with this episode especially. A couple of years ago, back when I believe I was in like middle school, I watched that Twilight Zone was on Netflix, and I remember I only watched this one episode, and I just found it to be like the strangest thing. I barely remembered it other than that memory. So technically, this was the only Twilight Zone episode I've seen before doing this video, and you know what? It's a 4 out of 5. This is a really good episode. Glad we're starting things off on a really good note with this one. Admittedly, Twilight Zone's the type of series where a lot of its episodes can have like twists or something, so I don't really want to talk about those because even if in the end I say like the show's bad or something, I do at least want to leave it open ended enough to where if you really care about watching these episodes, then you can just be doing it. But yeah, where is everybody is a really good first episode. I think the plot is really interesting, and I think the guy, for someone with having amnesia and being in this general setup, he actually had a lot of character, and he was a very entertaining, good type of person to be in the situation. Overall, just a really good episode. I felt like the writers really wanted to start things off with a really strong story, and they certainly managed that here. I really like this one. Okay, that one was good. How many do I have left? 35 episodes left. Ah, two. One for the angels. A 60-year-old man named Lou has to deal with a man named Death. Another 4 out of 5, and another really good one. I think I just like Lou and Death because Death is kind of just presenting like some guy, as I already said from the story part. I think I just really like them as like a duo. Neither of them are like really bad people or anything. It feels so chill, weirdly enough. Though I will admit, what Death does towards the end, like to make up for the fact that Lou trying to like get his way out of death, is very shocking. I guess if I have one nitpick, is that I think the way Lou gets out of the death situation is a little dumb. Like death is such a concept to where it's like, come on, the guy's been going through all this so much. Did he really just like let what Lou did happen? It was a little dumb. Hopefully, if you know, I know I'm saying it in a really stupid way, but like if you know what I'm talking about, then hopefully you do know what I'm talking about because yeah, it felt dumb to me. But maybe that's just me. And I still really like this episode. I like it more than the last episode actually. So that still clearly says something about how good the rest of this thing was. Another one I definitely recommend watching. 3. Mr. Denton on Doomsday. In the Old West times, a boozer named Al accidentally packs heat and becomes a big shot. So the last two episodes I was really positive on, so this one has to carry that. So hopefully this one will carry in the torch, right? Not really. This one's a 1 out of 5. Man, of going. I remember I watched all these on like the same night too. So it's like I was watching those really good episodes, and then like I took a bit of an hour long break to watch like YouTube and stuff, and then I came back like to watch this one, and I was like, the quality drop was insane, and yeah, this is a bad episode. I really, really do not like this one. It's so boring. Al is such a boring protagonist. I don't care about him at all, though. He reminded me a little bit of Barney from The Simpsons only because they're both booze hounds, and honestly, it's made me think, man, I could be watching like Simpsons right now instead of watching this episode, which is so bad. It's just boring, and I feel if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure the whole message was like something about like gun violence or something like that. Like that was like the ending takeaway. I don't mind when shows have a lesson. I think a show like Twilight Zone can actually be very beneficial for having lessons, like giving a moral to these stories. But like, man, why did they have to make the episode so boring? Maybe it's just me. I feel like even more so than like other shows, I feel like the enjoyment value of each Twilight Zone episode is really dependent on the person and what like they can take away from the episode. So maybe it's just me, but I really didn't care for this one. I thought it was a bad episode. Super boring. The 16 millimeter shrine. Am I the only one who kind of wishes this was episode 16 instead of episode 4? I don't know. Maybe I'm just that type of weirdo. Well, if you see my videos, you know I am a type of weirdo. Well, an old actress named Barbara stays in her house thinking about her film life while her friend Daniel tries to help her. I like this one. It's a 4 out of 5. Not as crazy as like the first two episodes or anything, but still, I like this one decently enough. Again, since I have so many episodes to get through, for episodes like these where I really don't have much to say, I'm kind of just gonna like barely talk about them. Again, as I've said many times in past videos, the real point of these videos is mostly just for me to casually talk about it a little bit, so we can have like a real conversation about these episodes in the comments. It's really meant to be like an engagement thing. It's like I'm putting in 100%, you're putting in no percent. Viewer, come on, you're ahead in the game. This is a partnership. You watch me, you comment on me. That sounds so weird. Oh my god. It's so weird, but hope any all this to say, I liked this episode, but it wasn't anything like crazy good. It was like a fine little like if I used a 10 out of 10 system, I probably would have given it like a 7 or something because it was a solid enough episode, but not anything crazy good and kind of dragged a little bit. Not gonna lie. 5. Walking distance. A man named Martin goes back to his hometown of Homewood. Homewood. Only to realize nothing changed. This one's a 3 out of 5. This one's weird because I want to enjoy this episode more than I actually did end up enjoying it because it's a good premise. But other than the scenes of like Martin meeting his parents, and I just didn't find a lot from this one too interesting. It's like it had the beats of what I thought a Twilight Zone episode should be. I mean, I know I was only 5 episodes deep into a 36 episode season, but hopefully you know what I mean. Look, I watched enough already from those first four to get a general sense of what the show should be. So it had the general flow of what I think an episode should be, but I don't know. Nothing about really overly stood out. Even the parts I did like weren't like crazy good. I found it weird that like the kid Martin was like running away from adult Martin. Like, what's up with that? That was a little strange to me. Maybe I missed something. Probably did because I'm not the most brightest person, but I don't know. I didn't really get it. It wasn't. I didn't understand it that honestly. Kind of just a meh episode all around though. 6. Escape clause. Walter makes a deal with the devil to become immortal. Okay, back to the really good stuff. I really like this one. Admittedly, I found the guy. Did I write his name down? Yes, Walter. Love how I literally probably said that only seconds ago, but I had still checked his name. I can be weird sometimes. But then again, we're all weird in our own special little way. Didn't it? Walter at first was really annoying. Like before he met the devil and all that, I really didn't like him. But then when he got the power, we met devil and got the powers. It got really good. It was really funny seeing him just not care about anything. He clearly did not care about his wife. Honestly, it really stunk. But hey, at least Walter got the ultimate punishment in the end, so it's all good. If you can get past those first couple minutes, which I mean I was able to, so I don't know, then this is a really good episode. I actually really enjoyed this one. 7. The Lonely. Corey is forced on an asteroid all alone until he finds company with a robot woman. I'm gonna be real. This one's like a 2 out of 5. It's just the first episode where is everybody, but done like worse. Admittedly, given how like AI and stuff has become so prevalent nowadays, I found it a little funny when he was talking about how like how she's a woman. It just reminds me of those guys who have like AI girlfriends or some stuff like that. Or women who have AI boyfriends. I don't discriminate. Women can be stupid too. Well, as a whole, though, this was a mediocre episode. I mostly found it boring. I just didn't really care for it. 8. Time enough at last. Henry works at a bank but wants nothing more than to read. He finally gets his chance when a bomb blows up. Okay, so before I give my rating, I have a history with this story as well. In my freshman year of high school, in my English class, I actually read this story, this Time Enough at Last story. I totally forgot if like the Twilight Zone episode had made the story first, or if like the little story we read was first. I don't know anymore, honestly. You know what? You guys in the comments tell me if you really care. Anyways, so and when I watched this episode, I was like, wait a second, it is just a story. Home Alone face. I've never watched Home Alone, by the way. So yeah, I already kind of was familiar with the story, except that story was like short. This story, however, is extended to a 22-minute episode. So what are my thoughts? I was loving the first half. I thought it was really good. Henry, I felt really bad for him. Bro just wanted to read. Why his wife was being like Al wife, I'll never know. But once the actual like doomsday thing happens and the whole town explodes, it gets so boring. It's just Henry looking around the landscape, and it feels maybe it's because I already read this story beforehand, but it felt like so filler. It felt like they wanted to get this to 22 minutes, but didn't really know how. Well, the ending twist was still good. I still enjoyed all that. And I still really like this episode, but man, if that second half was written way better, this could have honestly been the first 5 out of 5. Still a good episode. 9. Perchance to dream. Edward visits a psychiatrist. I'm gonna be real. This is a 1 out of 5. I barely even remember anything about this one. This is like the one where like the guy thinks someone's gonna like kill him in his dream or something. If I remember correctly, it took like half the episode to even get to that point, though. It's just this Edward talking to a psychiatrist. And typically, I think Twilight Zone episodes can still be good, even when a good chunk of it is like two characters talking, which is something that a couple of these episodes have already done. But I don't really think this one did it in a good way. I was just bored the whole time. Another one where I was just found the whole thing kind of boring. Despite I'm saying this plot out loud and it sounds cool, but then like the episode was so boring, I barely even registered it at the time. That's how little I thought of this one when I watched it. Bad episode. A good idea, weak execution, pretty much. 10, Judgment Night. Carl wakes up on a boat, not knowing how he got on. Okay, I'm gonna be real. This one's a 4 out of 5. But this is gonna be one of those times where I, on purpose, barely say anything about the episode, purely because the twist is so good. It's why I like this episode. This is like a lower end of a 4, and honestly could have been lower if it wasn't for that ending twist. That thing, one of the real times the twist got me so hard, it got me to like the entire episode. Watch it just for that. And the stuff at the beginning with Carl trying to interact with people on the dinner was also pretty fun. But it was mostly that twist, honestly, yo. 11. And when the sky was opened, a man named Ed Harrington no longer exists in this world. But not in the he died way. In the literally no one except Claude, I'm pretty sure, was. This is a 4 out of 5. Simply just a really good concept. The idea of like someone straight up not even being in this earth anymore, and this one the one friend trying to prove it, especially to the other friend too, was so much. It was such a really cool concept. I think it was handled in a really good way. So really good episode. Yeah, that was an easy one to explain. 12. What you need. Fred meets an old man who just so happens to know what you need. So this is the first great Twilight Zone episode. 5 out of 5. Great job all around. Yeah, I love this one. Fred and the old man's dynamic is really good. The concept is extremely clever. Everything feels like it works perfectly. This is just a truly great episode of Twilight Zone, and this was obviously I've liked a lot of the ones before this episode, but this was the first one where I felt extremely hooked. Like I really cared about what was going on, and I simply had a really great time watching it. Truly suspensing. Oh yeah, that's such a real word. Oh, you're so smart, Z-Man. Suspenseful episode. This is a really suspenseful episode. Definitely check this one out. I really like it. Not even really like it. I love this episode. 5 out of 5 means I should say I love the episode. It's a great one. 13. The four of us are dying. Archie has the ability to change his face. 1 out of 5. Even more so than Perchance to Dream, this is an example of an episode with a great premise. Some dude being able to change faces. That should be a peak episode right there. So how did they make it so boring? It's Archie talking to this person for felt like 40 minutes. Oh god, it was a club too, and I was just bored the whole time. Like, move on with your life, bro. It was just so boring. There's no other way to put it. I was just bored watching this episode. So yeah, if you couldn't tell already, bad episode. Again though, a case where I really wish they remade the episode because it had so much potential, but man, this one really did stink. 14. Third from the Sun. 2 men prepare to leave their town before anything bad happens. This is a 3 out of 5. Another example of a perfectly middle of the road Twilight Zone episode. Where it has the general beats of what a Twilight Zone episode should be, but doesn't do anything that overly made me really like this one. It really gave me any desire to really want to rewatch it. But in the moment is like perfectly watchable 6 out of 10 content. I have nothing more to add. 15. I shot an arrow into the air. A team gets crash landed on an asteroid and have to survive. 4 out of 5. I really like this one. Again, this one does a really good job, like actually telling you about like a moral lesson, and that's pretty much just how people sometimes can really screw each other over for survival if they really don't think they can make it out of the situation. This is another example where I think the twist really added to my enjoyment of this one and made me really like this one even more. But even before that, I was really enjoying myself with this episode. Nothing else to say other than really check it out. This one was very well made and very well told. And that one guy who survived at the end, you're a douchebag. But then again, that's also kind of you kind of need to be that way for like the story to work. So I don't know, man. I love how in a show as sophisticated as this, I could do this thing. Man, I'm so perfect show for me, man. 16, The Hitchhiker. A lady drives and keeps seeing the same hitchhiker. Man, do I love this one. Another 5 out of 5, and honestly, even better than what you need. The other 5 out of 5 so far, if you haven't been keeping track with the Z-Man lore, you dig. Nah, but I love this one as well. So freaking well made. This is a perfect 10 out of 10 episode right here. I guess if I have one complaint is I think when she meets like the Navy guy, I think that stuff goes on a little bit too long. But other than that, literally the only complaint I have, the rest of this thing is perfect. Not to be that guy, but it's weird how we had to wait this long for a female protag. I'm the type of guy who usually like doesn't care about gender and all that. Would honestly get annoyed at you for commenting on it. But I don't know. I guess I just realized it now, and I found that like something that I should probably say in this video. Well, but yeah, it's a great episode. Honestly, definitely recommend this one. Not gonna say much because again, I just had a really great time with it, and it was very enjoyable. Maybe it's because I get in my own head a lot and really think about stuff a lot and really overthink things. So having an episode of this show especially really helped me with all that. Well, not help, but like symbolized a lot of that stuff. Felt very. It helped me cope, bro. I got it. I had to cope. "17, The Fever. A rich couple go to a casino, and while the husband's initially reluctant, he gets hooked. 4 out of 5. Simple cut and dry one. Gambling is wrong. I was with the husband the whole time, admittedly, in that first half. Like, as much as I, like, obviously, as much as I would hopefully love my future partner enough to, like, want to do a vacation with her, I'm with him when I'm just really do not care about gambling. I know, like, a few card games if you re-explain the rules to me, but, like, I obviously wouldn't want to trade, like, real money for it or anything. If we're trading, like, food or like, fake chips, then I would be down, but, like, not real money, bro. I don't care about gambling. It's not for me to win. So, to see an episode of this show that pretty much just talks about that is honestly really enjoyable and does a really good job at it. Maybe not the most, like, complex or, like, mind-blowing episode, but not every episode needs to be, especially when we have, like especially when in a 36 episode season like this where there's already so many episode spots anyway. Pretty good episode, this one. 18, The Last Flight. A British pilot thinks it's 1917, and that a British legend has passed on. I have nothing to say. It's a 3 out of 5. Honestly, one of the most forgettable episodes in the entire season. I have almost nothing to say about this one. Again, it's just two people talking for most of it, and that really wasn't interesting. At least the plot, the general story was at least somewhat interesting enough for me to still think this is a 3 worthy, but man, I was so close to giving this thing a 2, it's not even funny. And with that, we are at the midpoint. If any season deserves me to take a drink in the middle, it's definitely this one. The fact we were only 24 minutes into this video is crazy work. Either I'm really bad at explaining stuff, or I'm so peak at explaining stuff I can just do it super easily like this, I'm so good. Get on my level, scrub. And by level, I mean make YouTube lives. Yes, I'm checking my phone. I'm 17. Give me a break. I'm on my phone. I need my phone. I can't spend 5 minutes on my phone. No, but genuinely, someone responded to me, and I get so few comments that I need this, bro. I crave this. This is all I need in life. Just keep talking to me, even if it's about pointless, dumb stuff. Please talk to me. But now you're not going to because I'm desperate. For real though, second half, maybe I'll say more because these ones I watched like a bit more recently, so maybe my mind will remember it even better. Let's dig in. 19. The Purple Testament. A soldier sees a light on people's faces and later the same day they die. 1 out of 5. Boring episode. Thinking about it now, maybe it's due to the whole situation going on with it recently, at least in my channel, but man, there's gonna be heavy MASH vibes. Maybe that's why I gave it a 1, because I just hate MASH that much. 20. Elegy. Is that how you say it? I don't know. I'm not gonna re-say it. 3 astronauts show up on Earth. Or is it really Earth? 4 out of 5. You're pretty much your standard pretty good Twilight Zone episode. I was invested the whole time. I thought it was really good. The astronauts this time around were all very kind to each other. It wasn't like the other one where they were all just were the one guy was just backstabbing them the whole time. This was a pretty good episode. I enjoyed it a decent amount. This was a fun little thing. It does a really good job teaching the story of how war really can just infect people. No one can really hurt them, 21. 21. Mirror image. A woman waits for a bus but slowly loses her mind. 5 out of 5. Another great episode. I just love this one a lot, honestly. I have nothing more to add. The premise is great. All the characters work really well. I think it's the fact that at the end, like the guy who was given serious "I want to be your boyfriend" energy, actually ended up seeing his own reflection too. That like really helped add to the whole thing. Just the fact that like he believed her and all that, it was really good. I think just having someone in a story like this actually believe the person who seems insane, it just helped. Because usually I really don't like these types of plots. Well, unless it's the Hitchhiker, which I guess is kind of a similar story. I don't like this one as much as that one, but this is still another great episode I recommend. Ooh, no shadow, no shadow, shadow, no shadow. 22. 22. Monsters are due on Maple Street. A street has strange occurrences happen, and they all start guessing who isn't what they seem. This one's a 3 out of 5. Another one I have very simple thoughts on. I like the message it's telling, but just seeing a whole town argue with each other the whole time just isn't like the type of thing I want to watch. So the episode itself is just kind of mid. Not kind of, it just is mid. 23. A World of Difference. A man named Arthur is living his life until he randomly discovers his life is a movie. Man, this one was such a trip to see. It's a 4 out of 5. I really like this episode. I think I just love the juxtaposition. Hopefully, I said that in a not 100% stupid way. Seeing, like, imagine you were just casually like at your job, and then all of a sudden, like, cut, bam. Apparently, your whole life was just a movie thing, and apparently, you're this guy who like had this ex-wife and all this stuff. Really entertaining episode. I really like this one. I think it's, and I guess it's in a way kind of nice that the guy got to go back to the pretend world in the end. But on the other hand, it's like part of me kind of wanted him to learn more about about his actual real life. But I guess fantasy can be more enjoyable than the real world. Story of my life, bro. I'm so edgy. 24. Long live Walter Jameson. A history teacher named Walter Jameson is revealed to be immortal. Reba from Mario in the Music Box be like, if you know what Mario in the Music Box is, then tight. For real though, this is a 3 out of 5. Another one I was almost considering just straight up giving a 2 because I found a lot of it boring, but I think towards the end it picked up a little bit, and like the way Walter finally was able to pass on was kind of nice. Other than that, though, again, a lot of this one didn't interest me. Again, maybe it's because it is just two people talking. I understand that, like, for live action shows and all that, it could be kind of expensive, but geez, really, so many episodes where it's just people talking. Wow, people talking. I don't want that on my show. Yeah. 25. People are alike all over. Two men are stuck in a rocket currently on Mars. 3 out of 5. Not only have we already seen some space stuff before, but this is like one of the rare times where I found the twist predictable. Like I straight up with like even a dummy like me was able to totally predict the twist at the end. That a show like this should be smarter than that and like should be able to be like make a better twist. If I already know it's because the rest of this thing wasn't like good enough for me to overlook that. No, so it's like I kind of felt like my time was kind of being wasted with this one. Again, not so boring that I felt I need to give it below a 3, but still, I have like no desire to ever return to this thing. 26. The Execution. A scientist takes a man named Joe from the 1880s. Too bad Joe is a criminal. Yeehaw! Thankfully, we get another truly great one. I love this episode. I think Joe is a really good one-off character. Well, I shouldn't say one-off because this is an anthology show. They're all one-off characters, but Joe is a really great character. I love how blatantly he's just a crook and how he's so chill and open about it. It's just really fun to watch. Well, except for the part where he lies, but like, come on, obviously he's not going to be extremely upfront at first. It's just a really fun. I think it's just an extremely great premise, and they use it really well. Because they could have had to be some guy who's like, oh, golly gee, this ain't the 1880s Home Alone face. Still never seen Home Alone, by the way. But to pick a character like this who's just so bad to the bone, that makes it a really great episode, a really great time all around. Definitely a top tier episode I recommend checking out. The Big Tall Wish. A kid wishes for a boxer named Jackson to survive. Survive in the ring, I mean. I don't know why I didn't write that. I think I was just tired. 3 out of 5. Again, another just casual middle of the road episode. The story wasn't really too intense this time. It's just, hey, what if this kid had the power to like change the outcome of a boxing game? It's meh. 28. A nice place to visit. A thug named Rocky starts living the high life. This is a 5 out of 5. More top tier episodes alert. This is another great episode, and it's all thanks to Rocky and Pip. They are. I know I should complain. This is another one where it's just two people talking, but I don't mind this one because the characters are actually fun. I don't mind if we've seen something we already saw before, as long as we make an interesting take on it. And having Rock and Pip are a really good duo. Well, again, Rocky's just this gangster, but he slowly lets his guard down and like takes down a shield and like just starts to enjoy himself. And I know I probably shouldn't be rooting for him because he's such a jerk in his life before he died, but like I can't help it. It's really, really good. So is the twist, by the way. The twist, I was totally not expecting it at all. It was really funny. It was just a fun little story in general. Just another top tier episode I really loved watching. Probably like one of the best episodes so far, honestly. Which I guess I could say in general for these 5 out of 5 episodes, but so the rating should already give it a dead giveaway, but I don't care. It's still a great episode. 29. Nightmares as a Child. A woman named Helen meets a little girl who has a lot in common with her. All I'm going to say is that it's a 5 out of 5. It's another great episode, really fun to watch. Just another one where I was just super intrigued the whole way through, really wanting to know what happened. And I think in a show like this, that's really the best kind of episode, other than just the ones with the fun characters. Another one I really recommend, another top tier episode. Again, but it's also one where I can't really say much without kind of giving some stuff away, so please just watch it. By the way, I watched this show through Tubi. Just watch it. All 36 episodes are on there. Just watch it on there. It's Tubi is probably the best streaming site because there's so much good stuff on there and it's also free. So definitely just use Tubi. That's the more like how every Twilight Zone episode is a moral. This is the moral of this Z-Man review. Just go out and watch Tubi. Doesn't even have to be Twilight Zone. It could be Twilight Zone the movie. 30. Stop at Willoughby. William has had it with his work and fantasizes about a better place. Man, 3 for 3, 5 out of 5s. This show, not show, but more so season, has really started off as a mixed bag. But man, oh man, they've been hitting with great after great after great episode. Third 5 out of 5 in a row. Again, the story is really good. Just about this guy who like really hates his work and just wants to enjoy his life more. Another one where I was just extremely curious about what was going to happen the whole way through. I think William is a really wanted to check to make sure I got his name right, but yeah, it's William. Was a really amazing main character. Again, I know the fact I had to double check may make it seem like I wasn't too enchanted, but come on. 36 episodes, so many people to remember. You gotta give me a little slack with that one. Just a truly great top tier episode. It really did a lot for me. I'm not sure if anyone else really cares about this episode that much. Again, I'm not in tune with the Twilight Zone fandom, nor do I really care enough to really be. But I loved this one, and I don't care if most people consider it to be one of the worst episodes. Do they think that? I don't know. Maybe they loved that like Booze Hound episode all the way back from episode 3. Remember that one? Wow, how bad that one was. We're nearing the end with The Chaser. Roger's in love with the girl and gives her a potion so she loves them. Another one I'm going to be blunt about. 4 out of 5. Really good episode. Really recommend you check this one out. Just a really fun time, honestly. Another one where like the message is kind of basic and I was kind of able to predict it. But unlike that one people are all like episode, this one is really good still because I simply really like the character dynamics. And as much as I do want like a woman, somewhat it's complicated, TMI personal stuff. I'm kind of with Roger on this one where it's like, dang, bro, like I don't want you following me around that hard, or like, come on, give me some space. So, yeah, really good episode. Well, not really good, but good, nice enough. 32, a passage for trumpet. A musician gets run over and becomes a ghost. It's been a long time since we got a 2 out of 5. I think this is only the second 2 out of 5 I gave it in the entire season so far. But yeah, another mediocre episode. It wasn't bad enough to be straight up bad, but it was also way too boring for me to even call it watchable. I'd actively recommend someone doesn't watch this one. Yeah, it's mediocre. 33, Mr. Beavis. Bro, I was just thinking Beavis and Butthead the whole time. For real, though, the episode's about a guy named Mr. Beavis has a horrible day, so his guardian angel helps him out. 3 out of 5. The episode kind of grew on me a little bit as it went on. I think Mr. Beavis is such a nice guy that I can't put his episode too low, but it was still kind of boring. At least this is another one where I can still at least agree with the message that you really should just be yourself and all that. even if that's a message that a lot of stuff is done. So I can't really say they did anything special with it here, but it's still a true message either way. Unless you're a murderer, then you should change your ways. Actually, now that I think about it, a show should have an episode where it's like the be yourself message, but the person learning it is like a terrible person who really should change their ways. That seems like a really funny episode promise. Why did Twilight Zone do this episode, huh? 34, The After Hours. A woman named Marsha has a twisted time at a jewelry store. 4 out of 5. If you know this episode, you'll know how strange as heck it is. Really weird. Probably the weirdest episode of the whole show, of the whole season, honestly. We only have like 2 episodes left, so not really much of a spoiler alert when I state that one. Really, really good episode, though. I really did enjoy this one. Take a shot every time I say really, but don't, because then you'll die of alcohol poisoning. That'll be really bad for you. Funny Peter Griffin, man. 35, The Mighty Casey. Someone named Casey joins a baseball team. This one's another 5 out of 5. I honestly don't have a lot to say. This one is just a great episode. And I think it's another one where it's because I really liked the characters that I was able to really just enjoy this one. If anything, all I'm going to say is that it reminds me of the episode The Lonely, but if it was actually well written. And given that they're both from the same season, I don't know why they couldn't have made this only a 35 episode season and just not even make The Lonely at all. But hey, whatever. Still a great episode. I really like the manager character. I don't know why, but I just really enjoyed his character a lot. No explanation given for that. And 36, A World of Zone. Gregory creates characters who become real. And we end things off with another 4 out of 5. Again, another typical Twilight Zone episode. Really good, really imaginative, really, really fun and creative. Well done. Oh man, you want to hear me talk about the list? Want to hear me say 36 episode titles in a row? Okay, starting off with the bottom 4, the 1 out of 5s. The episodes I straight up wish weren't even in this season, so it could only be like, even including the 2 out of 5s, it would only be like 32 episodes and would be slightly more tolerable. But okay, from the bottom, we have Mr. Denton on Doomsday, Purchased a Dream, The Four of Us Are Dying, and The Purple Testament. For the Soul, 2 out of 5s. Honestly surprised that there was so little given how big the season was. We have A Passage for Trumpet and The Lonely. Now the top 50. These are starting with the 3 out of 5. So we have The Last Flight, Long Live Walter Jameson, The Big Tall Wish, Mr. Beavis, Third from the Sun, Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, People Are Like All Over, and Walking Distance. Now time for the overwhelming majority of the ratings, which are the 4 out of 5s. Starting off with Judgment Night, The 16mm Shrine, The Chaser, The Fever, and When the Sky Was Opened, A World of Difference, Time Enough at Last, Elegy. Still don't know if I'm saying that one right. The After Hours, A World of Zone, I Shot an Arrow into the Air, Escape Clause, Where Is Everybody? One of the Angels. That brings me up to the top 8. The 5 out of 5s. The ones I actually really, really enjoyed the most and seriously recommend you watch. We have Mirror Image, Nightmares as a Child, What You Need. And then for the top 5, we got The Execution, The Mighty Casey, A Nice Place to Live, A Stop at Willoughby, and The Hitchhiker, despite its small faults. Ugh. Still a great episode, and then my favorite. How is this video only 40 minutes? Man, going into this, I thought, man, this was going to be an hour, huh? I'm going to make an hour-long Zman Reviews episode, but no, it was only 45 minutes. I think it's because I think it's because it's one of those shows where I think the seasons and, like, the actual quality of the episodes seriously speak for themselves, so it's like, I had nothing else to really add other than, like, either, yeah, the twist was good or no, the twist was or no, like, the message was good if I found the episode boring and stuff like that. So it made it surprisingly easy to talk about this season. Twilight Zone season 1 is a weird case, though, in terms of, like, recommendation. Because on one hand, obviously, I really enjoyed the overwhelming majority of these episodes. But on the other hand, I have to say, it took me a month to watch through whole season, and it makes me think, yeah, maybe you shouldn't be watching this whole season. So because of that, I can't. I have to recommend it in like a weird asterisk kind of way, where it's like, I recommend watching it. However, do not binge it like I did, foolishly did. Please just go through the list of episodes, and if one of them seems interesting to you, then even though I'm for once, even though I may have given it like a one or a two, then really do just watch it if you're really curious. Because yeah, it might be boring, but who knows? Maybe you don't even like The Hitchhiker, despite being my number one. Again, it's all subjective. I still did really enjoy my time with Twilight Zone, though. I that being said, I would still easily call this the most difficult review I've ever made because it took me a month. I can say stuff like Flintstone season one or Office season one were like worse seasons for me to review, like in terms of quality. But in terms of actually having to try to watch through all these episodes, yeah, no duh, this is the worst one yet. But it doesn't change the fact I did really like the season though. I eventually want to watch season two. If I remember correctly, I think seasons 2 and 4 are the short ones, so or shorter. So maybe it won't take me as long to finally just put to eventually try to get around to Twilight Zone season 2, but who knows? Anything's possible. See you guys next time.